How's everyone doing? Welcome to the final episode of After the After Hours with your boy TraderPrad. The final day of this week is tomorrow going to be a free fall Friday. Now get ready for tomorrow. Powell going on the microphone. Powell going on the microphone again. Get ready for tomorrow. So I do have a watch list ready, but if you guys are ready, hit that like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe. Thank you guys for all the love. Thank you guys for all the support. This is your boy TraderPrad. TraderPrad. But if you guys are ready for this show to get started, why don't we dive into the full screen and hit that like and subscribe. What is up, nerds? How's everyone doing? Let me take a quick little check to make sure everything's working. Oh, looks like the webcam's not working. Let me... Nope, webcam's not working today. But hopefully everything else is. Mic check, mic check. Yes, mics are working. Comms are good. We got the chats all up, locked and loaded. We got TH. I see TH messages on one side of my screen, but not on the other side of the screen. So, weird why I don't see... TH, you're getting shadow banned again? What's going on, TH? Stop getting shadow banned by YouTube. Yeah, good to see you guys in the chat. Brand new week, brand new month. February's done. Got to end February on the green side. Most of it, honestly, is thanks to a special little setup that I don't really get to talk to you guys too much about it. It's a special secret little setup, so I got lucky for the most part, but not gonna let that negative mentality roll into the next month over here, as we are starting on somewhat of a good note because of a couple things. Only a couple things that I did right that makes the month already on a good note. But had I done a lot more things different, it would have been a lot better, I want to say, on the day today. So let's quickly go through my trades on the day, talk about what I mean exactly. I know it was kind of like a riddle there, whatever I just said sounded like a goddamn riddle. But let's talk about my trades on the day, and then get ready for tomorrow with the nice little watch list that I have ready for us. Go through some earnings names, go through some of the stocks that moved around today, and see how we could potentially get ready for a money-making opportunity tomorrow. So starting off with what trade did I start my day with? I think I started with ACON. Right. So starting my day with ACON, wanted to pop into $8.50, $9 off the open. I didn't get the pop, so I hesitated to punch the short. This is a setup for me, which is taking the pre-market high failed break, but I hesitated on the pre-market high failed break, risking the high a day. Entry should have been somewhere around 780, 750, risking about 820, 850. Risking about $1, and you get a nice little move into $5. So I hesitated on that move. Later on, the stock gave you a quick little hitchhiker scalp short, and then a second chance scalp short also. These are both SMB Capital setups. I managed to get a little bit of a piece of the trade, but not enough to actually pay for the shorts. The shorts were pretty expensive, so not enough to pay for the shorts on the stock. And I just said, you know what, screw it. I don't even want to trade this name anymore. I'm just gonna walk away from it. Try to make the money somewhere else for the short fees on this. So that was the story off the open. So the right quick little small cap, hesitated on that, and then I started kind of FOMOing across the board on other names. For example, TRNR, another small cap name, tried to take the high a day breakout over here, the opening range breakout, expecting some sort of a squeeze, black swan event to happen. The stock has been short squeezing, not short squeezing, but trapping some shorts for quite some time now. So expecting some sort of a short squeeze to happen if they were trapping more and more shorts today from the last few days. So looking forward for some action like that, but looks like all the longs from the last few days and today they used it as a dilution, as the stock was really struggling to have momentum off the open. Clearly pulling back, and the rugs were rugged hard on TRNR today, giving you a good short opportunity much later. I wasn't watching it at that moment, but taking a long attempt because I couldn't find a trade in ACON, or at least I couldn't find myself to punch into a trade on ACON. So that's how the open started off for me. Bitcoin, I had a backside scalp long attempt on Bitcoin over here. That one didn't work out, but that was for small size. Much later on, around $51, a way clearer backside scalp pattern sets up where I'm able to actually pile into the trade on the move up and even on the pullback, add to my trade. So nice little pop off of that into VWAP, able to scalp my profits into VWAP. Sadly, no more move to the upside. Bitcoin was the number one name of the market today, I guess you could say that, but in the other direction than what people were expecting it to be. Bitcoin was obviously announced that they were going to be using cryptocurrencies in the US Reserve now. I think it was XRP, Bitcoin, and a bunch of other things that were going to be put into the US Reserve according to the Trump's mandate. So IBIT and a bunch of other cryptocurrency names, Coinbase, MSTR, all popped up. My weapon of choice was IBIT. Got a quick little scalp to make up for the loss, and then also put the stock in the profit for it to start the day with. Last but not least in these list of stocks over here, NVDL, basically Nvidia, but instead of showing you this over here, I will start showing you by Nvidia up here. So Nvidia here is actually a very similar trade to how Nvidia set up on the earnings day. Earnings day pattern has a very similar pattern. You can call this somewhat of a bouncy ball pattern, and the stock takes out the low a day, breaks the low a day, gives you a quick little $1 per share scalp on the pop, gives you a second chance scalp entry where I add to my trade, get out of half of my size as the trade plan tells you to get out of half of my size over there, and then now I'm just kind of trailing my position to the downside. This one wasn't really a trail. I'm just throwing an order $1 below or $2 below my entry, saying, you know what, I just want to make sure I lock in some more profits before the stock pops away from me. So just leaving a order, I think 2x or 3x below I think it was more than that, 3x below my entry. And then my last few shares, I was just trailing off the 5-minute bars, and as the stock started going deeper and deeper to the downside, I started going to a harder trail mode, which was 2-minute bars, and closed my trade. At that moment, after closing the trade for the short side, I could have just used that to flip long, which is what usually I don't want to put in words for Lance, but this is what I've seen Lance talk about, where a bouncy ball pattern trade turns into some sort of a capitulation long. Sadly, this wasn't capitulation in volume or in the range expansion. It was some sort of a measured move. Actually, if you measured the move, let's just show you the example live. So Nvidia, if you measured the move from here to here, you basically get that one measured move target right into some of the levels that I start covering. So you can see how yesterday's VWAP, sorry, that's not yesterday's VWAP, last week's low is where some of my automatic shares get covered into, and then the 2-minute bar low, I could have flipped in the 2-minute bar low. That's kind of capitulatory volume, but the range is just like, you know, I think that would be, I mean, that kind of did exactly that. Damn. I guess I should have just went long on NVDA as I closed my position, because then I would have been able to risk about 50 cents, 60 cents, and get a quick little $2 scalp to the north side. So I should have just flipped north, should have just flipped long off the short right here. But instead of doing that, I went to NVDL to kind of manage risk, and instead I just completely shit the bed on this position. Stopped myself out for flat, and you know, I'm able to actually get a nice winner on that trade had I just traded a little bit better. I was a little aggressive with my ads, and after adding it, my average price was horrible. That made me a little back and forth about where to put stop out. Ideally, the stop is still at the low a day, right? It doesn't change, but then I moved my stop at break even, and I said if it triggers, it triggers, or I think I moved it to 2-minute bar lows or something like that, and at that moment it was basically break even for me. So I get out at a break even exit, I pussy out on that trade, but boy oh boy, that was a monster long to flip off of. You could basically mark that as a capitulation. I think if you go take a look at on the chart, it is a rubber band scalp. So if you throw in a Bollinger Band, I mean, that is actually insane. So take a look at it on the 1-minute chart. You get the stock going into the lower Bollinger Band. You get the stock expanding down to the downside. Two measured moves from the original start of the trade, going into a lower Bollinger Band expansion, and then the candle itself is coming after a big volume candle. So big volume candle, and you get a rubber band scalp entry. So the stock, the bar is taking out 2 or more previous bars. So 1, 2, 3, 4 bar highs get taken out by 1 bar. That is your entry, risking that low, and that's where the stock starts to make a reversal. So somewhere around 115, 115, 20, 115, 11 is your entry. You're risking 114.50, and you get a monster move all the way back into 117 on that trade. So SMB Capital setups are absolutely wonderful if you're watching them and putting an eye on the right names at the right time, and it just happens to be today some of the stocks were the easiest names to keep an eye on. Bouncy Ball, Second Chance Scalp, Rubber Band Scalp / capitulation, Double Top, which is not like an SMB setup or anything, Double Top, and also you can look at the trend breakdown over here to the downside. So right from here is kind of where really trading started on the day for Nvidia for me. Anything before that, it really didn't matter to me, right? I didn't really care about Nvidia before that, but from here on, it really accelerated the amount of trade opportunities that you could have pulled off on Nvidia if you were just keeping an eye on it to scalp it back and forth. So awesome opportunities today. Shout out to Nvidia, and also my boys over at IU, the Investor Underground. I previously used to watch the videos with you guys on here live, but I don't do that anymore. Their video talked about how the last Thursday earnings move trade was exactly similar over here on Nvidia. So it's good to have pattern recognitions like that. Thankfully that helped me out on that stock today, and I sized up on it too. I put a B-level risk on what was potentially the only A+ trade for me today. I put a B-level risk on it, and that's the only reason why I'm profitable. Besides that, every other trade was basically paper cut, and I lost money on almost everything over there. So good job on me to sizing up on the one trade that I previously traded, and I did better again today. Halliburton, HAL, big move to the downside and onto the daily chart. If you actually take a look at it, $25.11 is a pretty important area on the daily chart. Stock goes into that area, bounces off of that, so I'm thinking, okay, it's got a little bit of a pop, at least back to the north side, because this move is insane. So I try a quick little long, risking that little low over there, but immediately I see sellers coming in and piling back to the downside. So now I'm watching what exactly is going on in this name, and I see some reasons to get in short without having to risk too much on this position. So I take some decent size on this. For how much I'm actually risking on this trade, I'm not actually risking more than a C-level shot for me, but instead I'm able to get a quick little scalp to the downside, make 20 cents per share instead of risking 10 cents per share. That ends up being a quick little winner for me on HAL today. TSLA, gambling. This one was a gamble because I was losing on TSLL. I was bottom fishing on TSLL. Tried to keep going long over here. This was kind of the long that I should have, but you can see how I screwed up on NVDL long the same way I screwed up on TSLL long. So maybe I should just trade the big name itself, right? For some reason I think that I could put on more leverage on these leverage names and really bag home when they come out to be victorious. But I also spook myself out of them when they don't end up being the cleanest trades. So what I'm thinking is either take the most entry of size on my first entries, which is always the answer to my problems, right? Take the most size of entry on my first entry, and then risk the bottom and just call it a day. The second solution to my problem is actually go ahead and trade the big name itself directly instead of trading these leverage ETFs now, because this will make me be more patient. This will make me be a little bit more of a silent killer. Wait for the right side of the V, wait for something on the tape for me to tell me to get into the position. However, Tesla over here was just an absolute gamble entry because I was losing in TSLL in no man's land. I just kept trying to catch the bounce in no man's land over here. One attempt fine, two attempts fine, but 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 attempts in this goddamn area, not really waiting for proper breakout. Some of them were proper breakout weights kind of, but then not really having a good pattern to take the breakout in. And it's been dirty once, it's been dirty twice. Why am I doing it again? It's like fool me once, fool me twice. Like I'm an idiot for getting myself fooled the fourth and the fifth time. So not worth it over there to trade Tesla today at all. Robinhood backside scalp. So a buyer shows up around 49 after the stock drops all the way down into previous day VWAP, bounces off of previous day VWAP, and I'm watching the chart, I'm watching the tape. The stock is now clearly having a buyer around 49, so I throw in a buy order. It almost gets into my buy order, but it skips it, so I just hit the ask and then I take the size to start with, and then on the breakout I add to my position. I get a quick little move, 50 cent per share move, profit on that one, scalp it, and then I get stopped out for break even on that trade. Ideally didn't want to see that happen, you know, get that move to the upside, but the market was weak also, so I didn't want to fight too much on that trade over there on Robinhood. I talked about ACON a little bit. NVDL, talked about that one. IBIT, pretty sure I talked about this one to you guys. Oh man, was that a short and did I screw up? No, that was longs. Yeah, so these were all longs. So long, yeah, I did talk about this. TRNR, talked about this one. Rocket Lab. So earnings day 2, was looking for the fashionably late scalp idea. Earnings day 1 on Friday was really strong on this stock. The fact to the point where, you know, it reclaimed the pretty important daily level, $20. So reclaiming the pretty important $20 area, bouncing off the $20 area today. I was expecting the stock could have some sort of momentum to the upside if the market got back above 510, and the market meaning QQQ. So if QQQ got back above 510 and S&P 500 kind of rallied with it, RKLB potentially had some momentum to the upside. So I got long, but no juice over there. Got stopped out. Stopped looking at the name. Much later in the day, you can see how the $20 flip back down gave you a beautiful short as the market pulled back lower. So that was a good attempt over there that I missed out on. I put it in my notes. Palantir, my buddy in my Discord pod, was telling me to look at the possible Palantir breakout long. I just didn't like it. I still gave it a very small attempt. Got stopped out. I said I don't want to take a look at it anymore. SMCI backside scalp attempt, got stopped out on that one. And last but not least, my biggest trading loss of the day, TSLL, where I'm just fighting the goddamn name like an absolute idiot. Why am I doing it? I don't know. Don't ask me. Probably because I just got a big, honestly, I felt it too. I had a big winner off of Nvidia on that, off the lower day short, and I managed it pretty well too, if you ask me. You know, I waited for the pop. Where is it? Let's go back to my chart. I got short, added a little bit on the even dollar breakdown, because I think the lower day was 118.30 or 118.40. So starting on the 118.30 breakdown, adding on the 118 breakdown also, scalping on the way down, waiting for the pop and actually showing me the proper trigger mechanic to enter for the second chance scalp, and then also getting out of 50% of my size the way S&P Capital tells you to do it in their PDF. However, I hate doing this because imagine how big of a move that would have been. But sometimes there are situations where it will just kind of double bottom and then bounces right back, so that 25% or 50% that you take out over here actually protects you from that whip back and getting you into a loser or whatever. So you know, it's not a bad idea, but maybe getting 50% out over there is not a good idea. So taking some out over there, always worth it. Taking some more. So after this monster winner, I immediately trying to flip into a long on Nvidia, on NVDL, and then trying to catch Tesla bottoms for the rest of the day is where most of my troubles came from. All right, hopefully you guys saw my trades on the day and kind of got some quick anecdotes of how to and how not to trade. Just drinking some bubbly over there. Some anecdotes on how to and how not to trade. And now it's time to go into the watch list for tomorrow. Obviously, some of the names that we're going to keep an eye on are going to come from the earnings board. OKTA, GTLB, ASTS. Besides that, I don't really see anything I care about. GCT maybe. I think I remember that being. Is that a? As I thought so. maybe we're not gonna care about that one. But other names over here, Quantum Computers, or not Quantum Computers, but Quantum SI, QSI, reporting today after hours too. Tomorrow pre-market, we got Target, Best Buy, C Gaming, PaySafe, but not really on the watch list for me. AutoZone, CrowdStrike in the after hours, Nordstrom, Box, Ross Dress for Less, ChargePoint, ANF. ANF had a little bit of a move down recently. Let's check out if ANF recovers off of that earnings report. Foot Locker reporting tomorrow, not tomorrow, sorry, Wednesday pre-market. Marvell reporting Wednesday after hours. Rigetti, Quantum Computing, that's reporting Wednesday after hours. Zscaler, MongoDB, Victoria's Secret, all of them along with that. JD, Cracker Barrel, Kroger, BJ's, Black Sky, BKSY. I like how Earnings Whispers is putting all of these small cap names that are kind of where in the most recently hot names in hot sectors, such as the drone names, the space sector, the quantum names, the AI names. They're putting those names up here on the earnings board. So I kind of like that, because previously they wouldn't even show these names up here. JD, Cracker Barrel, Kroger, BJ's, 999, Black Sky, Hippo, Macy's, Samsara, Hewlett Packard, Gap, which is finally their ticker name is Gap, Costco, BBAI, Broadcom, AVGO, pretty important name over there for the market, but nothing on the Friday that we care about. So still pretty big names. You know, AVGO is a huge name. Costco is a huge name. JD might be interesting. Finally, if JD can get above that $42 area that it's been struggling over for such a long time, maybe that will be on the earnings report. So we'll keep an eye out for that one. MongoDB, I love trading that one off of earnings report. So pretty fun active board still. And today we got some names to start our day with, which is going to be OKTA. Let's go take a look at OKTA. Ooh, we got John Bonds in the chat. What's up, John? Good evening, Prad. Is tomorrow short paradise? Well, according to our buddy TH, he says tariffs against Canada and Mexico begin midnight. A market crash tomorrow is in the realm of possibility. I mean, if that's the case, I think it might be buy the dip, because the market's actually going into what, the 200-day moving average now. So QQQ is 200-day moving average is 490. So market going into 200-day moving average, and if you throw in the anchored VWAP from the August lows, the market's exactly around this area. So if I was a long-term investor, long-term buyer, I'm looking to possibly buy these dips, but also at the same time, some of the big tech are under these big mega levels, like, you know, Google's under its 200-day moving average. Microsoft's well under its 200-day moving average. What else? Apple is kind of around it, I think, or above it. Nvidia is now under it. You saw Meta, which was already above it. So, you know, not good things don't happen below 200-day moving averages for the large cap stocks. So when they start going below 200-day moving averages, you start seeing some sort of a scary period, especially when more of them start spending time below the 200-day moving average than the you know, less of them, kind of, if you get the idea. You don't want more of them spending below the 200-day moving average, and if that's the case, we might just be heading into the overall market time to spend under 200-day moving average. So that's going to be possible bear territories on the overall market. So QQQ currently down. How much are we, Qs? Eight, 9% at the lows of today, but at a close we're closing at down 8% from the all-time highs on the market. So 2% more and we are officially in a bear market, and then at another 10% after that and we are officially in recession markets. Obviously, those are the markets that you want to potentially be buying the dip, buying the dip, buying the dip, and seeing if you get the opportunity to load up on the longs. Obviously, not financial advice. Don't listen to anything I'm saying. You do whatever your heart tells you to. Let me turn off the Bollinger Bands. All right, now let's take a look at Okta earnings report. OKTO. But no, it works. Okta revenue 682 versus 669. Okay, I like that. 0.46. Cloud native 78 cents, beating 74 cents. Up 13% year over year. Why did that look like an 18 to me? Up 13% year over year. Remaining performance obligations at the quarter end up 25%. Net cash provided blah 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 blah. And the prior year's quarter, company generated 284 in the million, up from 166 in the year over year. Okta ended in the quarter with 2.532 billion in cash. Okta expects first quarter revenue to be in the range of 678 million to 680 million. Compare that to current one, you're kind of missing or actually dropping quarter over quarter. You have any estimates for me versus estimates of 670? So still above estimates, however, even though you're going to be dropping quarter over quarter. The company anticipates first quarter adjusted earnings to be 76 to 77. Also dropping quarter over quarter, but compared to estimates, which is 70, they are beating that. Expects 2026 revenue to be in the range of 2.85 to 2.86 versus 2.8 estimates, and 3.15 to 3.2 versus 2.94. So overall guidance is higher. Stock up 11% off the earnings report, and they, I guess you could say, somewhat beat their current report and EPS. Revenue and EPS, and they guided higher, and they also are growing. So I want to quickly go check out what the stock what do you call it, PE is. Non-existent. Really, Okta? Nope. Oh, that's
Peace out, guys. Thank you.
there we go. Okta PE non-existent. Forward PE 26.92. You guys make $3 a share apparently. No, yearly, isn't that what you're guiding? And you don't have a PE. That's pretty strange. But why did I just put there? I already have the earnings VWAP already mapped out. Why did I just do that? I don't know. Anyway, stock making a nice pop to the upside, going back above $100 area, and you can see how this $100 area is basically the 52-week high now. Not really, never mind, I'll take that back. 52-week high is 114.50. But the $100 area has been a little bit of a resistance. It hasn't been able to get above 100.60 since July 2024. Oh, that's surprise. Okay. Since July 2024, double top, triple top, and finally moving back into that level. And then you have May 2024 high at 104. So if the stock can get above these two levels for me, I would love to see if we get a possible move higher to play with. I think, what was the report? How high did it say it went up to the north side? 14%. That would be 20%. So ideally, it goes into 104, 105 and exhaust for some sort of a short, or it sets up for a nice little breakout and long. So some sort of an opportunity in this area is what I'll be watching out for. I'm expecting the earnings anchored VWAP to get dragged up into the $100 area tomorrow by the pre-market action. So keep an eye out for it. I'll put 104/105 as a resistance to keep an eye on. As for support or inflection, actually, I'll put $98, which is EAVWAP. Oh my god, I can't type. EAVWAP. And also keep an eye out for the $100 area, which is what I think the stock will easily get above tomorrow. So 100 to 104 OKTA. If the market has a green day tomorrow, very interested to see if we can look for some sort of a bullish long on the stock. GTLB. Maybe I should start coloring my stocks again in the actual, why did I do that? Coloring my stocks again in the actual direction of the trade that I was intending to go. But then that ruins my high priority trades. Maybe I'll just color the red and green trades that are only high priority to me. How about that? That way I know exactly what bias I'm looking for when I come into work. GTLB, however, you shouldn't have a bias. GTLB, you know what, in that case, I want to just don't change what's broken. I'm going to keep it to my original color system, which is purple at high priority, orange at second high priority, and then blue at the lowest priority. GitLab reporting earnings, dropping off the earnings initially and then popping back up. And you guys know me being a big GitLab lover, a GitLab appreciator. So let's go take a look at the earnings report real quick to see if they reported well. GitLab reported 33 cents per share, beating estimates of 23 cents per share, 211.43 versus 206. Beat. Demonstrates the power of GitLab innovation, DeepSec platform, DevSecOps platform, AI fundamentality, blah 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 blah. GitLab first quarter adjusted earnings between 14 to 15 cents per share versus 15 cents estimates, and revenue of 212 to 213 versus 212.33. Company sees 2026 earnings between 68 to 72 versus 79, so that might have dropped the stock a little bit. 936 to 942 versus 939. So revenue low end is a little bit lower, high end is also, I guess just the same, about higher. So not that, kind of mixed guidance on the earnings report, but overall they beat their revenue, they beat their guidance. Did they actually grow by, do I have any numbers or do I have to do the magic homework for that one? What is this? $120% increase from earnings same period last year. Okay. And I'm gonna have to figure out the other numbers. So still growing on GitLab, but looking like they're slowing down quite a bit. I guess their competitor are putting them in the dirt. But overall, man, 100, holy mother of lines. Overall, they're oh, nice dip into the 200-day moving average, and they kind of bounced a little bit lower than the 200-day moving average, bounced off the $50 area, and popping back up to the north side. So keeping an eye on. This stock doesn't really trade with a lot of volume. That's the only downside. And the earnings report wasn't screaming like a no-brainer long to me. It was a little bit of a mixed earnings report. I have a mixed feelings to it. So the priority is also low, and you can see how the stock's forward PE is already in the red color, so it's kind of in the expensive territories. In the current market environment, will investors really want to go to a growth name that's not really kind of growing crazily? And right now, software is also not getting as much love compared to hardware, because it's all about what company is investing in hardware and AI, and actually then coding AI instead of the stocks that only provide maybe technology of other services. I mean, these guys do kind of get involved in AI, but I'm not sure in the whole rat race of AI, GitLab is kind of going to be coming out on top, even though it is a technology stock. It might just be one of them that goes sideways for quite some time. So based on that, you might want to be careful looking for an investment / anything of those ideas moving forward on this name. But hey, it's still a name that I would love to keep an eye on for dip buys. As for a day trade, the earnings report, like I said, doesn't really excite me too much. So it could easily be stuck in previous ranges. It could just easily be stuck in these ranges, these choppy zones, at which point I'm not too interested to really look for a trade. I want to see new ranges come into play. If we're below, let's say 55, and the stock is showing me weakness below 55, I'm more than interested to look for a short. But if we're not below 55, then do I really even care about a trade on this name at all? So I want to see new ranges come into play. So 55 or bust for me as a short. If we go into 55 and show me some support above 55, I might be interested for a long. So it really depends on that price point. I'm putting 55 as my support and as my inflection level on GTLB. Earnings day one. Let's see how it sets up for tomorrow. For now, my top priority name for earnings so far has been OKTA. Let's go take a look at the last name for tomorrow that reports earnings. Is going to be ASTS, or tonight that reported earnings, I mean. Does SMR report tomorrow pre-market? No, that reported today after hours. So we'll take a look at one more after this. ASTS. This stock has a pretty wild stock overall. Why am I looking at all of these? I want the report. However, might want to save this real quick because I need to put it in my notes, man. Let me quickly go check coin 2 because I know this has got to go here real quick so I can screenshot it because that is a big article, and then I'll bring it right back for you guys. That way I can paste it in my notes. Coinbase, STR, Nvidia, Tesla. Now, going back to my watch list. Okay, coming back to ASTS. Let's go find that earnings report again. Got a little distracted because I needed to save some notes over there before I completely forgot about that. Taking a look at the earnings report, 1.92 million compared to no estimates. Okay, compared loss of 18 cents per share compared to an estimates of a loss of 17 cents per share, so losing a little bit more than expected. ASTS Space Mobile highlighted several achievements during the quarter, including new commercial agreements with Vodafone and the US government, operational status for its first 5 Bluebird satellites, and accelerated manufacturing capabilities. Operating expenses for the fourth quarter were 60.6 million. Company said it ended the quarter with 567 million in cash. 2024 was a milestone. We are laser focused. No guidance. Stock at the end of the day was up 0.3%. So it looks like the stock actually did nothing in the after hours. Yeah, looks like it did nothing in the after hours. The report was meh. And we might actually get a nothing burger move. This was a very fun name to keep an eye on, as it went from what, $5 into $40, and people were looking for it to completely crumble back to the downside. At least I was, but you can see how clearly showing you some strength as it pulls back into the 200-day moving average. Some institutional ownership possibly rolling into this name. Let's go take a look at what the institutional ownership is now. 37.72% institutional ownership. So institutions are now putting this name on their portfolio, and they are making big bets on this company. So ASTS Space Mobile, but possibly a reverse SPAC merger popping up, getting to the downside of $1, and then just having some sort of a complete episodic pivot. So looking for possible dip buys, right? If you are some sort of an investor, you are potentially loading up on the moves over here and offloading as it gets away from the pendulum. This is the SMB, not SMB, this is the Lance concept. So think of this as the pendulum equilibrium area, and every time it spins far away from it, they will sell away way. As soon as it comes back into their average price or the equilibrium, they might look to accumulate some. If it goes lower, they might look to buy some more, or maybe they're the one who are actually creating the move to make it go all the way down there. So you want to be careful. From the fact that the report of the earnings report, the stock barely did anything at all, we might get a boring move tomorrow. So might not even be something of importance, but it's on the watch list. You know, I remember previously trading this name, so I'll keep an eye on it, and if it moves, if it brings volume, if it brings some new ranges, I will activate it in the pre-market for me to keep an eye on. SMR looks like it's taking down some daily levels over here. All right, SMR, that's when things actually get exciting, because now you're pushing below the 200-day moving average. So you pushing below the 200-day moving average means that could open up some some all the way reversal downside moves on this name for this small cap nuclear energy name that doesn't even really have a nuclear power plant or something like that. I don't know if they do. If they do, I'm wrong. But from what I've been told, they don't have anything. They're just just a shelf. So if that's the case, then what's going on here? Nuclear power Q4 sales 34.2 million of what? Phase 2 study. Analyze the report, Grok. In the meantime, I get to sip my beautiful bubbly can that has nothing in it. Alright, what's this? Okay, remains debt-free. Okay. I mean, sounds pretty bullish, but the market did not like it, right? The market did not like the stock at all, or the report at all. You got an initial pump from the earnings report and then a dump right back. For me, it's a fairly simple under over, and you guys hear me talk about that all the time. And if you zoom out on the chart too, you can see how the previous all-time high, which was right around $16, those are where I have my lines mapped out from the past. So 1585, you have the 200-day moving average at 1550. So it's a clear under over for me on this name at 1550. It's either above it tomorrow or it's below it, and if it's below it, I'm shorting any pops. If it's above it, I might not even care to trade it tomorrow at all. So pretty simple over there at the moment. Clearly below it, staying below 1550. It'll just make my life much easier all day. So I'll put it at a purple importance for now, but it all depends on what the stock wants to do tomorrow. Let me just quickly delete this one on the name that we're going to keep an eye out next. Is going to be Target. Target is on watch next for the earnings report. Let me put some lines on my chart. I want that one over there. Let's see if we can break that low. So 119 low. If we can get below 119 on target off the earnings report, that's gonna be some fun, huh? Potentially looking for some dip buy longs at the $100 area as an intraday long, or even if the stock wants to have more doomsday events than any pops, I'm just shorting all pops all day tomorrow if it's getting down into this area. But if it reports well, pops higher, goes into the 200-day moving average, you might get some short scalps intraday, or you might get a nice breakout long for the stock to kind of rejoin its partner in crimes, Costco and Walmart, back to the north side. Speaking of Costco, they report sometime down this week, so they will be of interest also. So target tomorrow pre-market, Best Buy, BBY. I might have to delete a bunch of lines over here. Yes, I do. So delete all my lines over here. Best Buy, not something that I actually do enjoy keeping an eye on as a day trade, because I just feel like I always get scammed in a trade over here on Best Buy that I never manage well. But if there is a trade, I'll keep an eye on it. From my previous past, Best Buy, probably because I'm just way too biased on this name. I'm just way too biased. I'm way too opinionated. I think Best Buy belongs in the gutter. I think the company sucks. You can basically buy everything you want from Best Buy online, from the companies directly, for possibly even cheaper prices than Best Buy. So I'm just not a big fan of Best Buy at all. But hey, to each their own. Eventually, maybe Best Buy does go bankrupt and I'll get to say, haha, I told you so. But for now, Best Buy is, staying above its 200-day moving average. If it reports well tomorrow and stays above its 200-day moving average, you got a simple long all the way back into 91, or maybe even into the 100, 150, 120 in the swing trade setup. But if it doesn't hold above its 200-day moving average, it starts going lower, that's when I will start getting really excited on Best Buy. SE, another name reporting tomorrow in the earnings basket. This one's actually a little bit higher than its 200-day moving average, and you can see how that was actually at the low of a previous zone. So pretty interesting. Is this back at all-time highs? Yeah, I remember SE being much higher. So it's not back at all-time highs, but we'll see. BBY, they had a decent sale over. I hate Best Buy. But no, I'll keep an eye out for a day trade, obviously. I just never have a good memory of making a good money trade on that name. But if there's an easy money scalp, easy money trade, I mean, who am I to fight that trade? I'll easily look for that trade, right? SE, keeping an eye on this one for sure. Here's the previous earnings view up around 116. We got the 200-day moving average at 93. Some levels over here that are already being respected and looks like a fairly clean stock. So if it does go back into 100, into 92, into 120, you have some levels mapped out. So fairly clean chart so far on that name. Ooh, talking about clean charts, look at this bad boy. ON Holdings, 200-day moving average right into I think I might have put this, maybe not. Maybe not, I'll take it back. But currently moving back into that kind of zone. I might just delete it because I don't really need that anymore. This was that little swing high from back in the day. That little swing high from back in the day. This is the new all-time high now. Might want to mark this just to have that one marked out for myself. This is basically kind of a double bottom in this zone, so I want to have that one marked up for myself too. I'll put that one back in there. Why not? I'll put it one. I wanted it. I'll put it back in there. And now these are the kind of the zones of interest for me. If I might have to remap some of these levels of interest in pre-market, so be it. But for now, these are the levels that I'm watching on ONON. TSLA. Obviously, always on watch, especially with the news that the market just gave out, or not the market, the stock, not stock, Trump just gave out for the whole sector. For some reason, Tesla is in the crypto sector. That's because they hold Bitcoin on their books. So if Tesla is in the crypto sector, and crypto gets some sort of a positive news the way it does today, that their reserves, or the US reserves, are going to now put cryptocurrencies on their books. If that's the case, any companies such as Reddit, Tesla, Robinhood, Coinbase, MSTR, IBIT, which is directly cryptocurrency ETFs, all of them are going to get activated and start moving around a little bit. So you saw a nice pop in the pre-market, but sadly it was just seldom news event, and the market just got sold off big time off of that news, and what a big down move. And then middle of the day, you got Tariff Man coming out slapping tariffs on USA and Canada, saying tariffs will go active tonight after midnight, and retaliatory tariffs coming on in April. So that also bringing down the market, putting some weight on the market. People are actually worried that tariffs and what DOGE is doing, which is pulling out money out of a bunch of corrupt government, old government regime, hidden pools of money, wherever that money was going. They are now basically putting that out of those sectors, and all that corrupt money is no longer going to be funding some of these trades, apparently, or some of the market functionality is not going to be having that liquidity anymore. So people are worried that this money is going to be drained out of the market. So people are bearish now. So Tesla, Nvidia, Google, Microsoft, and all the large caps, they're all on watch. As for levels, I mean, they're pretty simple. You're watching previous day lows, previous day highs, 200-day moving averages. Nvidia going back into last month's low of 113. If Nvidia gets below 113, it's going to be a monster short. I'm not saying it happens tomorrow, but the fact that Nvidia moved the way it did on the earnings day and then did what it did today, I just don't want to say that it doesn't get below 113, because anything is possible. I might be below 113 right now for all we know in the overnight market session. So if Nvidia is below 113, let me actually open up Discord, ask my buddy, is Nvidia below 113 question mark in NBL is Nvidia below 113 probably in the after is 112. Oh, today's low is 112.28, so that's already below 113 right there. And in the after hour, not after hours, the overnight markets potentially even much lower than that. So these are going to be the hot sectors again, the semiconductor sectors, TSM, SMCI, Micron, MU, MRVL, who reports earnings soon. So keep your basket of names ready. Another basket of stocks that potentially you want to put in over here is Intel. I like the short of Intel. If it can actually get below, what is this, 2250? If Intel can stay below 2250 tomorrow on every single push, I think we got a nice move on Intel to play catch up to the downside. That's possibly a very easy short to keep an eye on, especially if Nvidia is cracking down and Nvidia is weak below 113. If Nvidia is not weak below 113, Intel might not be weak below 2250. But if Nvidia is weak below 113, Intel below 2250 might be beautiful. The weekend I bought a second laptop, LOL, for like 700. It was 500 bucks off on Nvidia. Oh man, yeah, Nvidia just getting body slammed over here. Meta could get below its previous all-time high around 640. So that's a little bit of an important level. You can see how Meta is really battled to stay above 640 and getting ready to maybe go back into previous earnings anchored VWAP or going into the 200-day moving average. So that 640 area will be pretty important for me. I'm guessing Meta will give you some sort of a gravitational pull into that level tomorrow. Either it bounces from there to give you a pretty clean long, or it sets up for a fairly clean short, and I want to be participating in either of those gameplays tomorrow. So watching how the stock plays. Microsoft actually is interesting if it can get below that low right there. So 385, you can see how that and that is kind of like a multiple. Let's just delete all the drawings real quick and do this for myself. No, what the heck? Why the heck? Do that. Okay, so 383 to 385 on Microsoft. Either it stays above it or it gets below it on Microsoft. Otherwise, it's just GG for the stock, in my opinion. Already below the 200-day moving average, and with the current market bearish sentiment, whew, potentially more downside. But with any company poised for some upside, potentially Microsoft, right? Microsoft recently announced the big quantum chip, and all of a sudden they're getting slammed the way they are. So if the market's weak tomorrow, 383, 385 short, possibly the easiest trade. I know I keep saying this about a bunch of them, but Microsoft possibly an easy trade tomorrow below 383 short. But if the market actually bounces, I think the dip buy in this area where we're seeing buying coming in is worth keeping an eye for. Google, I'm going to kind of maybe want to ignore this one, but it looks like a fairly easy short below 165 for a move into 160. So I'll just put 165 as an inflection right now, but I won't even give the stock another bat of an eye or an important color on my watch list. Apple, choppy, not caring about what Apple does at the moment. Amazon looking like it wants to go back into 200-day moving average and bounce around that area. So keep an eye out for 200. What was today's low? 202.55. We haven't tested 200 in a long time. 200-day moving average is at 198.60. So I'll just put 198.60 also on my watch list, which or 198.50. Who cares? 200. DMA in my notes to keep an eye on for Amazon for potential trade opportunities over there. And last but not least, few things left over here to keep an eye out for is the overall market. So talked about this really quickly. And QQQ, if you put in the August low anchored VWAP, that's kind of where the stock market is basically pulling back into. It's also about an 8% pullback from the all-time highs. It's also a pullback into the 200-day moving average. So either the market stays strong above 490, or we get below 490 and it is bear market territory. Any second below 490 is automatically bear market territory on the market for the QQQ. Bear market territory on the market. Well, bear market zone on the market overall. So you want to make sure that you're not fighting the longs if the market wants to go down. Don't fight the longs. Stay vigilant. Keep some backup short plans on the watch list. Potentially the Meta 640. Was it 640? Yeah, Meta 640 short. So potentially the Meta 640 short if QQQ is weak below 490. So some sort of idea like that. Just saying that, hey, the market's gonna go down might not be enough. This is a concept that the SMB Capital just recently talked about in a video that I was watching. You got to be or not in the video, it was in the Investor Underground video, how Jeff Holden talks about how you need to be specific in your plans, because something that I kind of struggle with is I have beautiful plans, but I always struggle with execution, and that execution comes from the lack of actually having preparation in the setup or being specific with what I actually want to look for. So having a setup, having a specific game plan of what you want to look for, what you want to do with that game plan is how you get to capitalize on these moves. So if Nvidia is going to do this, I want to do this with this stock. I want to do that with this name. I want to do this with that position. I want to punch in X amount of shares. I want to watch the 2-minute bar highs, the 5-minute bar high trailing, and keep an eye out for all those kind of pointers on the market, right? Keep an eye out for what you want to look out for. So once again, if QQQ gets below 490 you know, it's actually 491 for the 200-day moving average, but I'm just gonna give it an extra leeway of 490. What was today's low? 493.58. 491. 200 DMA. So if the QQQ can get below this area, I'm very interested to look for shorts on stocks like Meta, Nvidia, especially Nvidia below 113. So Meta, Nvidia, did I put Nvidia 113 in my notes? I did. Okay, Meta, Nvidia, what else? Intel. I mean, the list just keeps on, goes on and on and on and on. All right, AVGO pushing back to the 200-day moving average. Kind of have too many names already, so I don't really want any more. QQQ, S&P 500. We'll go to the SPY. SPY looking like it's I mean, not looking, it is back into its support zones, but a couple break of those support zones also takes it back into the 200-day moving average, similarly to its partner in crime, the QQQ. But SPY is only down 5.5%, and if you take a look at the Dow is only down, what was the Dow down from all-time high? Only down 4.5%. So Dow basically you know, chilling. If you zoom out on the chart, the Dow is big chilling. It's always QQQ that screams doomsday first, and then kind of goes, oh, okay, we're calm, we're chilling. But you know, in the current environment the market's in, it makes sense why people are worried about potential downside. So keep an eye out for it. IWM below its 200-day moving average, the only one of the four markets that's below its 200-day moving average so far. So QQQ, SPY, IWM, and the DIA. The DIA. Just finished that IU video. That was a good one. Yes, it was. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is basically the stream for tonight. If you are interested in the IPO calendar, make sure to come to the stream on the 5th of March. I almost said February. 5th of March, because there is an IPO on the 6th. We'll be doing some research on that one. 184 million. IPOs are one of my most profitable setups, so I'll explain to you how I trade them, what I look for, and all other fun stuff. And also make sure you tune in on a day-to-day basis to see my trades on the day, understand what I look for on those, and then my watch list. And also, if you're interested in awesome tools that I use to trade and to scan stocks or to look at news, make sure to click on the link in the description. The Linktree link. You can get discounts by clicking on these links over here. 15% off, 10% off, so make sure you go check them out. Shout out to today's sponsor, Benzinga Pro, for getting 10% off. Click the link in the description. I'll see you guys next time. Catch you guys. Have a great night. Good luck on the market. TraderPrad out. Peace. Get ready for the watch list for tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm gonna bring in my big screen over here. Back to another brand new week of After the After Hours with your host TraderPrad. I'm doing great. Hopefully you guys are joining me on that great side. Markets are moving around. Might just be a risk on type of day, so let's see what happens. 8 o'clock tomorrow. As you guys know, we do the stream Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m. Shout out to my affiliate sponsors, Benzinga, Trade Ideas, the #1 scanner to go to, Trader Sync, promo code down below, promo code PRAD15 to get 15% off. I will catch you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock, same time, same place. Until then, TraderPrad out. Adios.